Good afternoon, everybody, from the 2012 Little League World Series here on Sunday afternoon. I'm Mitch, Rupert from the Williamsport Sun-Gazette, standing alongside sports editor Ben Brigandi. We're here to give you another update on the international field here at the Little League World Series. And Ben, just to kind of put a nice little tighty bow on this great story, Uganda goes 0-2 here at the Little League World Series, but this was still the biggest story of this series. What did you see from Uganda that you liked, and do you think there's a future in this country coming back here and maybe even competing?
Well, there's certainly a lot of athletic ability there. It's no real secret that, the entire continent of Africa has countless numbers of great athletes, some of whom never realized their potential internationally because they don't compete in some of the sports that we're used to seeing. I'm thinking, beyond soccer, basketball, baseball, football. Certainly have a lot of good African athletes in track. But this is definitely a different experience to see them play some Little League baseball. You saw more fundamental skills out of them than I think people were expecting. You saw pitchers who could find the plate. They've had some issues hitting, save for the home run at the end of the game on Saturday. But yeah, there is promise. I think long term, the problem they're going to have, and every developing nation has this with baseball, is cost of equipment, cost of field maintenance, attracting the next generation of players, not to mention the cost of competing in the Little League tournaments. It cost this team $35,000 to go from Uganda to Poland for a regional tournament. That cash is going to need regenerated every single year. And it winds up every single year they need to try to do this with their divisions. It's going to increase the burden. For Uganda's sake, certainly they're hoping the game will continue to grow and some of these financial problems, if they don't take care of themselves, they'll at least find some new ways to raise money.
We were curious the other day after we saw Curacao lose their first game to Japan, whether or not they could get back in this tournament and still make some noise. They had a real nice bounce back win yesterday. How big was that for this Curacao team? And do you think they're still a factor?
Yeah, they're still a factor. Saw more of the Curacao team you would expect. They had a tough opening draw against Japan. I'm not sure that any international team would ever open against Japan. It's sort of like opening against North Carolina against their league tournament. It's tough to beat them. And unlike the NCAA's, this is a double elimination tournament. I would expect Curacao to hang around for a few days. Be okay.
It's good to see. It's always good to see those teams come with the bounce back. Now we get to the meat of the day here on Sunday, Japan versus Taiwan. And number one, Ben, is this the best non-title game of this tournament?
It depends on the strategy. I look at today as shuffle the deck. Nobody today, no loss today will end anybody's dreams of the championship. If you win, you will advance to the international semifinals later in the week. If you lose, you got to win to get back there. But for the most part, if you're Japan and Taiwan, there may not be that much initiative to show your best pitching. Because you might have to play them again. And if some of these teams in a situation, if you wind up getting down 4 or 5 runs in the 4th or 5th inning, it becomes a decision of, okay, do you keep your best pitcher in the game and try and fight back? Or do you pull the pitcher out and keep them rested and eligible for some elimination games you're facing later in the week? Every coach here is playing gamesmanship with the pitch counts. They're either upfront about it or they're just not talking about it. But either way, it's pretty obvious in the stands what's going on. When they get close to 20 pitches, 35 pitches, 50 pitches, what have you, you can start to see guys warming up in the bullpen. You know it's coming. It's predictable.
But it would still be fun to see the potential of a Taro Kiyomiya go against this Taiwan offense that really exploded on day one. Can you agree with that?
Yeah, certainly it would be. I'm just trying to think from the perspective of either of the managers. Is Monday the best day to show your best card? Psychologically, that's a decision each coach is going to have to make. Obviously, you would never want to give your kids the impression you're not trying hard to win every game as much as you can. And let's be honest, a win today means you don't have to win as many games later on to get where you want to go. But again, today is shuffle the deck day. Teams will learn their lots rather than play for their runners.
If we're being honest with ourselves, though, in talking about this international field, is this really a two-horse race, or do you see a Panama, do you see a Curacao still being able to contend with Japan and Taiwan?
I still need to see more out of Mexico to put them in the top run with Japan and Taiwan. Usually the top three international teams have been Japan, Taiwan, and Mexico for the last few years. Curacao and Latin America teams have been good, not great. I'm not certain yet that this year is any different in that respect, but the question is how good can Mexico be? I think they were taken aback by their loss to Canada and the Big Seven went first inning. They need to show a little bit more, but I would definitely say, though, psychological games aside, the winner of tonight's game is definitely the driver's seat.
Got a little fan here. That's okay. Well, that's good. I think that's going to do it for us here from Lombi Stadium, the 2012 Little League World Series. Remember, you can find all our stories. Ben will be here all week covering the international field at www.sun-gazette.com. Follow all of the Sun-Gazette sports writers on Twitter. We'll put our Twitter handles up here. And find us walking around on the grounds here at the Little League World Series. We got Sun-Gazette pins to hand out. Trade them with your friends. Trade them with other people. Have fun. From the Williamsport Sun-Gazette, he's sports editor Ben Brigandi. I'm Mitch Rupert. We'll talk to you later.